welcome to Build Brunch, the daily morning show where we talk about the latest topics in pop culture. I'm Brittany Jones-Cooper.
I'm Shannon Coffey.
I'm Allie Colbert.
And I'm Lucas Tim. Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys. Happy Monday.
Hey. Let's start with our morning pop. Michelle and Barack Obama have signed a deal to produce exclusive podcasts for Spotify. The Jonas Brothers' new album, Happiness Begins, is out and being called the pop comeback of the year. And actor Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger tied the knot. Now let's serve you our favorite stories of the day.
Guys, the 2019 Tony Awards took place at Radio City Music Hall last night, featuring all of Broadway's latest hit shows. From show-stopping performances to talented champions, it was definitely a night to remember. Here to tell us more is Emmy-winning entertainment journalist for New York One, Frank DeLella.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to talk about the Tonys. We got to watch the show last night. What were your overall feelings?
I thought James Corden killed it.
Yeah.
I mean, that opening number, 9 minutes long, what was so cool is that he had all the nominees who were involved in the musicals of the season on the show.
I know.
And in that number. I mean, he's a real musical theater baby at his core, so you could tell with that performance, right?
And it felt like a great way to reflect of the year in theater, but also like in culture in general with the TV references and how entertainment is changing, yet why theater is still so important. I really enjoyed it. As someone who I had not, unfortunately, seen a lot of these plays and musicals, so I really got a great recap, but also a reason why I haven't seen them, because Handmaid's Tale, Game of Thrones.
Right, exactly.
He's very funny about it.
See, I'm the complete opposite.
Right.
I've seen all the shows. Now it's time to catch up on all the TV,
Yeah.
all the series.
So let's talk about the shows. Who were the biggest winners last night?
I mean, Hadestown got a lot of love. Did you guys see Hadestown?
Woo, yeah, I saw it.
14 nominations. They walked home with 8 awards last night, including the coveted Best Musical Tony Award. So that was a big win. I gotta say, the boys in the band, you know, it opened last summer, it closed. There was a big question mark on whether or not it was gonna get the Tony, because when a show closes, the voters can't go. But enough voters went, and of course, it took home the award. It was a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Ryan Murphy brought it to Broadway for the first time in 50 years, and it was pretty amazing.
I love that. I was gonna say, back at Hadestown, Andre DeShields, who I
Oh my
love, won his
gosh.
first Tony at the age of 73 after
know.
50 years in the business.
Brittany, the Wiz.
I know, and but we saw him in
Wiz.
Hadestown, and like the moment he stepped on that stage, he like took you into this world.
Yeah.
So I love that he got honored like that.
And also kind of just giving a shout out to his hometown of Baltimore,
Yeah.
saying, you know, I hope, I mean, I'm getting chills and tearing up. I hope I did my hometown proud.
Yeah,
Like, at 73 years old, amazing.
I thought there was a lot of good representation last night.
Yeah.
From the performances from 18 Proud and Choir Boy to the speeches of some of the winners. Like, you saw a wide range of performers with different skin colors, disabilities, to women and sexual orientations. I really thought that was just a great theme of the night.
Yeah, I was so happy for Ali Stroker's win. She is the first actor to win who uses a wheelchair, and I just think that is such a huge, impactful moment for so many people watching who are disabled, and also people who aren't. It's like important to note that she won right after her performance. If she had been in the audience, she wouldn't have been able to get on stage because they're not handicap ready.
Yeah.
And a lot of theaters, like for audience members, they are, but backstage they aren't. So they're not thinking yet with having in mind that performers can be and should be disabled at times. Like you should be open to everyone being able to have that chance. So I feel like this is gonna make a lot of change, hopefully.
Massive moment.
And Ali Stroker, she's from the Glee
The
Project.
Glee Project!
Ryan Murphy!
Yeah, Ryan Murphy.
Brought this person to our eyes, and he is such a talent. And honestly, I talk about him so much, but he really sees, you know, beyond like what the go-to has been in our society. And so I really appreciate, like, I feel like he helped make this moment possible.
Well, I was hanging out with Ryan at the after party at the Carlisle Hotel last night, and I said, you know, Ryan, you have to stay doing Broadway. And he was like, Frank, I'm here to stay. So Ryan Murphy is staying on Broadway.
We need him everywhere.
What else was going on at these parties? What is that experience like?
So, like I mentioned, the after party happens at the Carlisle Hotel. It's the most exclusive after party. So basically, after the Tonys, all the shows have different parties, and then there's the big Tony party at the Plaza.
Right.
But you really want to go to the Carlisle. That's where, you know, you can see the likes of Jesse Taylor Ferguson and Andrew Rannells hanging out. And there's a piano player sitting at a piano, and there's a sing-along. I mean, it's just good. Oh, there we are.
Who's
Jake
that
Gyllenhaal,
next to you? Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't know who that is.
No. We had okay, so this is the red carpet. So that was Tina Fey.
Oh, she
You
was
guys know
so
Tina
funny.
Fey?
I love that
She was
suit.
so funny.
That's my co-host for the red carpet show that we did. Ashley Park, you guys may remember.
Yes.
She was nominated for a Tony last year for Mean Girls. Ali Stroker
Awesome.
on the red carpet,
Yeah,
and
you
of
got
course
to see
Jake
everyone.
Gyllenhaal and Tom Sturridge.
Jake
and that was at
Gyllenhaal,
the
not
Carlisle.
a talent, huh? So untalented, so ugly.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I also want to shout out Stephanie J. Block too.
God.
I loved her in the Cher Show. I know
Oh
Ali
my
just saw
God,
the Cher
I saw it
Show.
this week and I lost my mind for the Cher
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah.
And she really embodies Cher and
Yes.
makes it her own,
Yeah.
you know? And Stephanie, I think this was also a celebration of her career as a whole. It was her third nomination. You know, she's beloved in the community, and finally, she has her moment.
Her speech was ready.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love
When
her
I-
speech. It was such a theater girl
So,
speech.
well, that's the difference between you can't with these actors, unlike the Emmys, they go, I didn't prepare a speech. No. Every actor wins a Tony. They've been practicing that in the mirror for
Oh my
17
God.
years.
Yeah.
And
Because
you
if you-
felt that with her. She was like, this is my moment. I've been ready for this for a while.
And if you know Stephanie, God love her, Stephanie prepares for everything. You interviewed her.
Yeah, she's so dynamic. I was so happy for her. I literally stood up and clapped for her because
Yeah.
I knew how important and how big of a moment was for her.
She told me that her parents were watching, or her daughter was being watched by a family member, and they got her up. They put her to bed and then got her up for that moment.
That's so
Isn't
special.
that sweet?
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
So what can we expect after the Tonys? What do we have coming up in the theater season?
Well, believe it or not, the season has already begun. You know, Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune, starring Audra McDonald and Michael Shannon, is the first new show of the 2019-2020 Broadway season that opened a couple weeks ago. But the big hit, for those of you looking for like the next big thing, is going to be Moulin Rouge.
Really?
Hands down. It opens this summer. It's totally revamped with Adele music and Beyonce music, and it's going to be awesome.
God.
That
So
sounds
exciting.
incredible.
I have to get tickets
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm also super excited because Colleen Ballinger, who you might know as Miranda Sings from YouTube, she's making her Broadway debut on The Waitress.
Oh.
And I think that's gonna be so cool. Like literally, this is just someone who was on YouTube doing her own thing. She got her own Netflix show, and now she's on Broadway. Like I think it's so
She's
cool.
a superstar.
Yeah, she really is just doing it all on her own. I'm so inspired by her.
Yeah. And if you know the character that she's playing in Waitress, she could almost do it as Colleen the actress or as Miranda.
Yeah.
So it's kind of perfect.
It's so good.
I love that. We have so much to look forward to. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today,
you guys for
Frank.
having me.
Thank you.
I love your show. Thanks
And to
for
see
having
more
me.
Frank's
you.
Tony coverage, follow at F-Delela for more information.
Plans to build a rooftop infinity pool with 360-degree views of the London skyline are in motion. The pool, called Infinity London, will feature 4 transparent walls and a clear bottom, all on top of a 55-story building.
Who wants to die today?
I mean, I could not feel more. I just would be swimming in my own throw up. I'm sorry. I was in that looking down. I'm saying.
That is such a visual
I
for me.
know. You're trapped on a roof in water looking at London below you. I just like, and the way the way it works is there's a staircase in the middle that will rotate you up and down. Do you imagine if it stops working? Like, I'm sorry, yep, the staircase is working. You just have to stay in the pool for a few more hours. I mean, you can't just get out.
Yeah.
And also,
Well, I
you
mean,
need to go
you
to the
can just get out if you want.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
this is, in
How?
all seriousness,
You just die.
I could see that being like a really big problem. Like, imagine if you really have to go to the bathroom and it's not working. Imagine if someone has a heart attack.
Yes.
Because they-
Allie, nobody
Yeah.
gets out of pools to go to the bathroom.
No, but think,
Or have a heart attack.
think about that, and you need to get out. Like, that's really a problem.
No, it's huge.
Is the Queen of England gonna fly a helicopter up there to rescue you? I mean, how you gonna get out?
Sounds
No.
like it's like an underwater kind of like elevator with the
Yeah,
staircase.
it does scare
Yeah.
me. The entry and exit part scares me.
That
I love
really
the idea of the pool. I think it would be really cool, but I would be afraid to die or drown trying to get out.
Yeah, I would think they should have just done kind of like how they did that Singapore hotel pool, where it's just a rooftop pool that's an infinity pool.
Right.
But do you imagine if you're in
That
that
one.
pool and you're seeing something happen below you that's bad, or you're just like chilling in the pool? I don't know.
But also, everyone's looking up
Yeah.
at you in your like swim
Yeah, it's just
Where?
it's
Swimsuit?
swim trunks.
it's very exposed. You know, there's some pools you go underneath and there's like an aquarium style thing.
Yeah.
You can
Yes,
look in.
Atlantis. We all went in 7th grade.
That's weird. I feel
Well,
like
not
this
all
is,
of us.
I
Some
know.
of us grew up broke. Just want to remind you, I never went to Disneyland or Disney World or anywhere.
we have to take you.
Oh, shit.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we
Let's
should
do
take
Build Brunch from
you.
Disneyland.
I just get triggered when you're like, we all went there in 7th grade. I'm like, I didn't go anywhere, Allie. I went to the closet.
I'm so sorry.
I was like, ooh, between the hangars is a whole new world.
No, I was living there too. It wasn't that fun.
But this follows along like a lot of very expensive things because this building will also offer a hotel right underneath the pool.
Right.
That's like I think hotels are trying to offer these like packages. Like there's this Vegas hotel that's like $100,000 a night. There are packages to get
$100,000 a night?
Yeah, no.
That must be the same rehab.
This is real. That actually was real. This is actually real. And there was another one, like, you know, you could ski with an Olympian.
Yeah.
Kit Harington's rehab facility.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong with this. This one I was right.
100 billion years.
It is interesting how big hotel amenities are getting, though.
Right.
Like, it's a little outrageous, but I think they're trying to do things to separate themselves from Airbnb, and they're like, no, you should stay in a hotel because look at all these amazing things we offer.
I mean, I personally like hotels a lot better than Airbnbs.
I'm like hit or miss.
I don't really need to feel like I'm like living in the city. Like I just rather stay at the Ritz.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I can't even afford Airbnb, guys. When we have dark weeks, I just stay in the basement and wait for you guys to come back from your glamorous vacations.
Yeah, it's weird. I did forget a bag, and I came back, and Shannon was still here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna come with me next time. I don't know where we're
Thank
going,
you.
but I'm
I'll
bringing
go
you.
anywhere.
But there are hotels that have like helicopter, like you can rent
Right.
a helicopter and it will like land at a landing pad on the hotel and take you where you need to go. I mean, if you have money to spend in a hotel now, you can do it.
I mean, I'm all for treating yourself. I mean, treat yourself. You know, Donna and from Parks and Recreation.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. I get it.
yourself.
But like this type of thing, I don't want to be a downer, but like there's better uses of money for this. I mean,
Yeah,
just because London is
course.
having a rough time right now with all that Brexit stuff. So I think there's other things we could be doing with this money. This is affinity pool. You know?
Totally. It's just weird to live in a society where like you're probably gonna exit that hotel and then there's gonna be someone on the street who's just living like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
complete
yeah, that's
opposite.
like the epitome of like resort culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you go to these like Caribbean islands or like anywhere else for
Yeah.
that matter with a nice beach. You're on the hotel and that's beautiful. You drive 5 minutes out and everyone's like, "Do you have water?" It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's
is it.
alarming.
Yeah.
It just I don't need the infinity pool. I'm like, we can have a way like more chill, relaxed pool experience and maybe give some of that money to other people.
Right. Yeah, there's like a Will and Grace show. Karen's like, oh, it's the best hotel. They pick you up in the hotel. You never have to once look at a local. Like
Yeah.
they just that's kind of what it's like a little bit.
But don't you
Yeah.
think this is just feeding into that like Instagram culture? I
Yes.
only feel like hotels are doing stuff like this because they're like, oh, people will come photograph, and then it's gonna be,
It
and then
is
it turns into
cool.
a thing.
It is a really cool like architectural idea, and like I actually appreciate the idea of it. I think it's stunning. Like the design scares me, but like I also like to see what humans are capable
It's
of
cool.
innovating.
But how do you bring your phone to this pool?
You don't.
You don't. You
See?
can't.
So how are you gonna Instagram from there,
Well,
Brittany?
their phones are waterproof now.
Are they? I'm
yeah.
not
Their phones are waterproof now. Yeah.
Oh, I'm always in the water with my phone. It's good. Yeah,
Maybe.
it's good. It still works.
I mean, maybe they have like bungees and you hold on to the side and you just like, get outside the pool and take a picture of someone.
Believe me, Instagrammers will find a way.
They'll find a way.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
think this Instagram culture, once it all ends, if it ever does, people are gonna be like, wow, we just built a pool on a roof. Great idea.
Well, it's like
For what?
remember when
Like,
that
for what?
girl tried to lay in that area filled with sharks, and they took a
Yeah.
photo and they bit her arm off.
Just like,
Was it? How many likes did she get?
The iMessage reaction or tapback feature can be both exciting and daunting depending on who you ask. Whether it's a thumbs up, thumbs down, or exclamation point, these emoticons can be perceived in many different ways. Let's break it down.
I love when we break it down.
I love the buttons back, and I think it's to end the conversation by giving a response quickly. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
We'll meet at the restaurant at 5. Like it. Sounds good.
I like it, and I sometimes though will like heart something or haha it if it's not the end of a conversation.
Uh-huh.
I've done
Yeah.
that in the past, but this is just such a clean, easy way to just stay professional without having to fuck someone.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
I'm sort of mixed on them. I definitely think they're like a quick way to communicate, like, got it, yes, I'm good, or I like that. But I do sometimes when I ask a question and somebody just gives me that, I'm like, no. I need a response.
Wait,
Like,
but people, that's not appropriate.
That's not
but
appropriate.
it happens sometimes.
What is the question?
Call
I
them out
don't
on the
know.
show.
No.
Who is it?
Who is
Ask
doing
the
that?
question into camera 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get really, really frustrated when I read these articles being like, oh no, communication is so difficult now. People are doing this. And I'm like, who's misusing this? And so if someone is asking, how are you? And you just answer with a question. Like, hey guys, like I trust that everyone is smart enough to have this feature and not be a fucking idiot about it.
Right.
Stop being so stupid, okay? Don't use them wrong.
I don't know anyone who like actually answers questions with.
So like if my ass was like, hey, do you want to go to the movie? And you just went like this, I'd be like,
No, that's a bad friend.
but that
That's not
happens,
this
and I'm like, no,
feature.
say yes, I'm free here, or yeah, I'd like to see this, but it puts the onus back on you to continue the conversation.
This sounds like a specific person's problem.
Yeah, I say that's someone you should cut out of your life.
Right.
Cut them out right now. Call them out on the show. Say, whoever you are, Tabitha, Sarah, get out of my life.
Yeah, I don't like
If
that.
your text conversation is just you sending response and them they should be put in jail.
Guys, this has been a really important conversation for me.
Yeah, that's not
I have to
good.
look at some friendships.
You have to really look at
Seriously.
friendships. But I also like this way when you're in a group chat and you fell behind and you come back in to read it instead of like, and you can laugh at people's specific jokes.
Yeah,
or something.
it's
That's
a way of being like, I saw it, I'm here.
I'm here, I'm with you, I'm still with you, I hear you.
Tell me what meaning you derive from the exclamation point.
That one is the most confusing.
Because I do a ha-ha, I do a thumbs up. Exclamation point, what are we trying to say with that?
I'm
Extra
like
this?
this, yes. Like I'm this is what I've been waiting for.
Right.
Call out that bitch in the group chat.
Yes.
I'm fucking done with her shit. Exclamation
her.
point!
Tabitha!
Read her.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I use exclamation points a lot because
You?
a lot of people in my group chats are really smart, calling out the right things, and I'm like,
Like
Agreed.
that.
yeah.
All right.
And now it's time for some candid coffee. Each week, we will answer a question that comes from you, our viewers. The question can be about anything. If you want us to answer something, tweet us at Build Brunch. Now, let's get candid. Here's the question of the week. Ramona from El Paso, Texas asks, what makes popular kids popular?
Well,
Shannon, do you know?
Shit, man, I'm triggered. Wow, no, do I have to go first? I would say just good hair.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, Lizzie McGuire, good hair.
in my high school, I had good hair, wasn't popular. You were only popular if you had sex and did drugs.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend that or think you should do that, but that's what will get you there.
If you want to be popular, have sex.
But can't that like turn around, like backfire on you? Because some people I went to school with had sex and then weren't popular because they were like, man, you've had too much sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a good amount of sex.
Yeah.
The right amount.
You have to have mysterious sex, apparently.
Yeah, with someone from camp.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I still think you should never have sex under any circumstances, no matter how old you are.
Yeah, you preach celibacy.
Yeah.
You really, it's your thing.
100%.
Yeah.
There's not enough people doing that.
No,
Yeah,
we
you
need
got
that.
it. You know, why do you think I'm holding this big coffee mug? To hide my genitals. Okay?
This is interesting to me because I think in my high school there were different social groups and like yes there were like the cooler ones though, but
Well, tell us what the choir boys was like. 'Cause that was the one you were in, right?
Oh.
no, I wasn't in that group. I was in many groups, I think. But as someone who was a politician in high school searching for votes, I tried to be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
I was very shallow about some of my friendships. But yeah, I mean, the cooler kids were just like, they were just, I think, honestly, say good looking. That's a big thing. And I would always say they all are relatively the same good looking.
The kids in my school, the popular kids, they were like especially hideous. And I don't know if we came to like a progressive, maybe my school was so progressive that they were like, let's uplift these uglies.
Right.
But like they were not cute.
Yeah.
Like the guy that I had a crush on, like he was so bad looking.
Oh God.
I think in my high school, what made girls popular is shopping at the Buckle. I don't know if you remember what the Buckle is, but it was this store and it was like too expensive for me to shop there, but you had to pay like $150 for a pair of jeans. And if you had the right jeans and all that stuff, you kind of like...
Is that a chain store or is that a Nebraska store?
No, I think it's a store, but maybe mainly in the Midwest. But it was called the Buckle, and I remember like just going in and looking at the jeans and being like, I would be more popular if I had these jeans. And all the cool girls had those jeans.
There was a store similarly very expensive in my town. I did not shop there. It was called Cool Stuff.
Whoa.
And like
That's how you know.
everyone shopped there if they were like really cool.
That's
But-
so 80s teen movie.
Yeah.
But also, I would say what ended up happening at the end of high school was, which helped me and some of my best friends, the funny people became popular.
Yeah.
When you get older.
So how did that help you?
Oh.
No one is laughing. Stop going ooh.
They don't like when you insult me. They're with me. Right now, people are with me.
Just laugh.
They don't like Mean Girl, Allie. Anyway, the weirder, funnier kids when you got older, like when we were like 17, 18, that kind of was like.
They're like,
like, insulting. I'm saying funny people, and I think we get older, those funny people, that's what happens when you get older. Funny people become more popular because people want to be around them.
There was like a certain level of survival I had to navigate. We've talked about my history, of course, but I think being one of like the only black kids that was really involved in stuff and really vocal, using my humor was a huge coping like mechanism.
Yeah.
And I think it helped me kind of connect to a lot of people. Like I stood out, whether that was good or bad, but like people knew who I was.
yeah.
So I don't know if you call that popular, other than like people are just like, that black girl's kind of funny. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like I always say, like nobody was trying to like date me or anything, but they were like, you can come, you know, you can sit at the table.
Yeah.
Hey.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice.
You take what you can get in high school.
Well, guys, now it's time for today's guest. Trent Shelton is a former NFL wide receiver who seemed to have it all together until everything fell apart. Through that adversity, he discovered the secret to finding promise in the darkest of times, and now he's sharing that secret in his new book, The Greatest You. Face reality, release negativity, and live your purpose. Here to tell us more is Trent Shelton.
How you doing? Good.
Welcome.
How you doing? How you doing?
To the table.
Thanks for having me.
So I love the title of this book.
Sure.
It's like, it makes me want to pick it up because I know I'll be inspired. So tell me the inspiration behind writing it.
Yeah, well, just my journey and my struggle. I really want to help people turn their pain into their power. So I felt that's what I did with my life. I mean, losing's my everything, my identity in football since I was 5 years old. And so I wanted people to know that the greatest you is not something externally. It's not a job or position that you find. It's really inside of yourself. So it's a journey of unbecoming to find that greatest you inside of you.
I was literally just talking about this with a friend. When you're somebody who knows what you want to do and you're ambitious and you seek it out, and then when you either reach it or it ends, it is like this huge identity crisis. So what was that time like for you?
It was the hardest time in my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what do I do with my life now? So for a lot of people, it might be a relationship or job, and when it's over, you feel like your life is over. So I went through suicidal thoughts. I went through questioning myself. I'm like, man, like this is my everything. What else is there to my life? And rock bottom changed my life, though. The birth of my son, and unfortunately, one of my closest friends committing suicide really helped change my life.
That sounds like a tough time.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah.
So what are your tips for finding promise during the darkest times?
Well, I would have to tell you that it all starts with you. You know, I think a lot of times when we're going through struggle and pain, we always point the finger at everybody else. At least I know I did. I'm like, it's everybody's fault. It's the coach's fault for cutting me. It's my parents' fault for not making me fast enough. Right? It's everybody's fault. But until you point the thumb at yourself and say, you know, it's on me, that gives you power to do something with your life. And I think that's the first step, is taking responsibility.
Yeah.
I love that. And what did you do personally to get yourself on the right path?
So for me, my faith was the big thing for me. My faith in God, that really helped me and changed my life and changed my whole trajectory of where I want to go. And also my rehab process. So it's a 3-step process. It's pretty simple. First is reality. And I like to tell people you'll never win your war by running from your battles. The second thing was release. And this is a big part, was that what bridges in your life that need to be burned? Because there's certain bridges in your life that need to be burned because there's certain things you cannot afford to go back to. So that might be habits, that might be people. And the last step was repair. What do I need to put in my life to actually better myself and push myself forward? And so I had to change my environment, I had to change my friends, and I had to read books. I didn't like reading books, so now I wrote it, so it's kind of crazy.
That bridges part is real.
Yeah.
She had to burn some bridges today on the show. People not responding to her text messages in the correct form. What advice do you have for people? Because we all have dreams, and sometimes that dream is really about getting on that professional level, like being an athlete or an actor. So what happens, what would you say to people who literally at the point in their life where they know that that's not going to happen for them?
Yeah, I mean, that's just I'm big on this. It's just the title. I mean, the position at the end of the day. I think sometimes you have to let go of and this is hard, you have to let go of what you want to do and grab a hold of what you're called to do. I never wanted to be a speaker. I'm an introverted person. I never wanted to write books. But I realized in sharing my story and how it affected millions of people across the world, this is what I was called to do. So that's a hard process, but sometimes your dreams are just for you. They're selfish, but maybe you have a purpose in your life that's way bigger than you that will help a lot of people.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
And many celebrities, public figures, people in general coming forward talking about toxic work environments, which I think a lot of people struggle with, and it's hard because work is how you make money. You have to go to work. How can people break free from the toxicity?
As far as in your work environment?
Yeah.
Well, you have to focus on what you can control. For one, my thing is coming to your work environment the best you. I call it protecting your peace. And so how do you start your day? A lot of people, they start their day on defense by responding. The first thing that most people do is what? Grab their phone, and they're responding to the world. And so what I like to do is live an intentional day. I call it the 4 A's. It's something simple. The first A is appreciation, gratefulness. Over 150,000 people die every day. You're still here. You're trying to find something to be grateful for for your life. The second A is affection. I say a hug a day keeps depression away. So I hug my daughter, hug my wife. My boy is 10 years old, so he kind of weird. The third A is accomplishment. And so how you start your day will influence your day. Find one thing that you can control, that you can win, whether it's making up your bed, washing your dishes, whatever. And then the fourth A, which is big, is activity. In Texas, I like to go for a hike. I like to release those endorphins in my body, and I like to create movement because movement influences mood. And so when you start your day off like that, self-care, it's not selfish. And you're in a better place when you enter the workplace.
In the book, you talk a lot about forgiveness, and especially forgiving yourself, which I have found and a lot of people find is hard to do. I think it's sometimes the hardest thing to do. What do you recommend how people can begin that process of forgiving themselves for something they, believe they did wrong?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this question. Do you want to carry this emotional weight the rest of your life? Like, life is already hard. Life is a mountain, and you wouldn't carry unnecessary weight climbing up a mountain. So let it go because it doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve your future, and it doesn't serve other people around you. We've all made mistakes. Everybody. There's not a perfect person in this world, and when you can own that and learn from your mistakes, it'll help you become the greatest you.
And you mentioned you're married now with 2 children in Texas.
One on the way, too.
Oh, congratulations.
For sure.
That's awesome. But before all this, you and your wife, Maria, did go through a rough patch. How did you overcome that?
It was tough. So Tristan wasn't planned. That was about 10 years ago, and me and Maria wasn't together. And at first, it was hard because I'm going to just be real with you. Like, I wasn't a man. I was blaming her for things. I wasn't the guy that people see now. And it took me facing that reality with myself and realizing, like, this is my son, and he's going to follow my footsteps. So Tristan made me become a better man. And then me and Maria, we said, it's not about us. Like, if we're not going to be together, we're not going to be together. We're going to set up the best functional environment for our kids. And over time, we end up falling in love with each other, getting to know each other even more, and this is the result.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you are the founder of the Christian-based nonprofit Rehab Time.
Yep.
So tell us about what that does.
Yeah, so Rehab Time is basically this. My goal when I started, I wanted to be the #1 online community for self-worth. And I think we're kind of getting there, but we just help people put strength into their weaknesses. Whether it's from an online standpoint, we have rehab sports for kids, events that people can come to for free, all of those things just to uplift and help people change their lives.
That's really amazing. And before you go, what do you most attribute, what quality of yours do you most attribute to sort of getting you to where you are today?
That's a good question. Outside of my faith, I would say something called emotional resilience. And emotional resilience is, everybody feels emotions. I have days where I don't feel like doing it. People are like, Trent, you're always happy. Absolutely not. I'm not. But I don't give up because I have a bigger picture, a bigger why, a bigger reason that pushes me through. So emotional resilience is very key if you want to create something great in your life.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I love that optimism and positivity. We need more of that. So thank you, Trent.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And The Greatest You is now available wherever books are sold. That's all from us. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same table.